Hey everyone, welcome back to another segment of the MCR. I got Magnum PI to my left. Mac in his Magnum shirt. My name is TJ. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. And we're on multiple platforms. Too many for me to number or mention, but to include Truth Social, unless we forget the Trump platform, which I'm sure we'll take heat for. But anyways, in this segment, we're going to talk about something that happened last week. Representative Lee Zeldin. Don't know if the name sounds familiar, but he is the guy who is the Republican nominee for governor of New York, and honestly, I don't think he has much of a chance of winning, given the Democrat demographics of New York City and
right.
And
well, he probably is the devil.
Yeah,
just because he's a Republican.
So, well, I tell you what, someone sure treated him like that. He is the guy that during one of his campaign speeches up on stage, a guy just literally, he just walks right up there, and he's got like, I don't know how to describe it other than some kind of small keychain knife, and I think he tries to stab him in the throat, in the neck somewhere.
Wow.
And I think Lee may have learned a lesson because he didn't really have much of security, because it was some of the bystanders, people who were in attendance, that helped subdue the guy.
Right.
And, I guess I'm going to say, what's the big deal? This happens all the time.
Sure.
Yeah. And later that night, after they subdued the guy, he was arrested. Lee Zeldin was able to finish his campaign speech, and then later that evening on Twitter did a post that he fully expected the guy to be released under New York state law. And guess what? He was released on his own recognizance, no bond. And that made news, I guess. I mean, why would it make news? We're getting attacked all the time from someone on the left,
Well, it seems to me, and I believe this was in New York City, correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, it's kind of a moot point, but the guy at the bodega.
Yeah.
Or the barista who was stabbed a guy to death after the guy attacked him. So he stabbed the guy in self-defense. That guy got $200,000 bond.
And ultimately they dropped the charges, but yeah.
But it's still eventually it got dropped to $25,000, but it was still $25,000.
Yeah, last I heard they did drop all charges.
Well, that seems proper.
But
what I saw.
Why was he even charged to begin with?
Well, you got to charge someone. You know as well as I do that if in Michigan, and this is where we're at, if you shoot someone, first order of business is call a lawyer, then call the police, then keep your mouth shut until said lawyer is in place. But you are going to be arrested if you shoot someone, even if it's clearly in self-defense.
Now, it is reported that on, I think, Saturday, July 23rd, the feds came and arrested him on federal felony assault charges.
The same guy that tried to assassinate the governor?
Yeah, or the Lee Zeldin.
Oh, not the governor.
Lee Zeldin.
Gubernatorial candidate.
So he is under arrest right now, but only because of federal charges. Otherwise, he'd be walking free, looking for the next person to stab. But I mean,
Well, this is where we're at now. You can't have a disagreement in this country. If I don't agree with you, why get to stab you?
Well, clearly the left has found those of us on the right to be so horrible that it's okay. I say that sarcastically because, and go back after when Trump won in 2016, I think during that year, they shot up that baseball game where Scalise got shot up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Right. Rand Paul out cutting his grass and the neighbor attacks him. And I think he had some pretty serious injuries in that little encounter.
Yeah.
The guy sitting outside Kavanaugh's house debating on whether or not he was going to torture and murder Justice Kavanaugh. So I mean, what really is the
Well,
big
you
deal,
could make an argument that was and why he's not being charged in that case. I don't know. Chuck Schumer, you're going to pay a price for doing what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, he clearly threatened which is a felony, by the way. But their boy, who's in their pocket, Merrick Garland, who thank God didn't get on the Supreme Court at least yet, he's not going to do anything.
Well, you know, they have so, in a perverse mindset, rationalized any violence against us on the right. It's more than just okay. It's become a necessity.
It's a virtue.
It's a virtue. Yeah. I've said often, I don't dare, you know, let alone Trump, I don't dare put a Republican sticker on my car. Needless to say, given my current job assignment, I literally do have to drive through the hood to get to work.
Yeah.
You know,
to hell with the hood. Drive through a city like Ann Arbor, and you might get your windows busted out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, you know, the left has become so virtuous that in their mind they can do no wrong, and
everything they do is justified because you're so terrible.
To include killing somebody,
punching a Nazi in the face.
So
they decide who the Nazi is.
So that's what I wanted to talk about in this segment. I could rant further if you have any further thoughts.
No, it's a whole. It could be an hour-long video about that mindset.
It could be an hour-long rant. So, okay, two old guys are going to stop ranting at this time and cut you off some slack. That's it for this one. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.